Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of 4GQ TV. Everyone watching live from Facebook, in Russia on VK, and on YouTube. Thank you very much for being here today. It's greatly appreciated. I know some of the people watching on VK don't understand everything I say, and you post comments occasionally on the Facebook videos, but I'm trying to put up captions in Russian next, so that'll be a little bit difficult. But thank you all for tuning in. We have a really packed panel today of people on 4GQ TV, and I'll start from the right to the left. We have PK Entertainment. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's happening, guys? The most electrifying man in all entertainment right here, Mr. AKA Excellence to Execution, ready to put the smack down on your candy ass, and I'm ready to go. I am so excited. Windows 11 revealed today, and then we got some more great news this week. New drivers, new stuff, new everything coming down. I thought E3 was big. We still got news coming down the pipe. Ready to get it. Let's go.
Nice, yeah, a lot of good stuff, especially on Xbox side. A lot of improvements. Animated Evil, man, what is going on? Looks like you have a haunted background a little bit. Let me see if I can catch that top in here. Nope, I can't. But it says Animated Evil on the top.
It really does. It really does. Yeah, thank you for having me on again. It's an absolute pleasure. I'm quite happy tonight, quite psyched. Really good to go. I'm looking forward to what we're going to talk about. I'm looking forward to, as the non-tech guy in the group, I'm looking forward to listening to what you've got to say about the stuff that's just been released.
Yeah, I think PK and Mav are going to be the ones that probably know the most about it. And speaking of Mav,
PK.
what's going on, man?
What's up, dude? It's good to be back here for guys. I was racing, trying to get here on time. I just made it. It's been a few weeks between. I had internet issues. We're going crazy and stuff for the last couple weeks, but I'm super glad to be back here with 4GQ and be here with this huge panel now. This is like awesome. We got like all these cool people here. See lots of awesome people in the chat. I'm super excited to get into some of this stuff, dude. I'm pumped. Let's get it.
Flamish, without the candy bowl, there is no good luck for you. So what's going on, buddy?
Well, I'm doing great. I'm glad I made it. And yeah, there's a lot to talk about, so I'm not gonna stall too much time here.
Okay, sounds good. And then we have Infinite at his personal arcade in his basement, locked somewhere, probably like in the sites of Wisconsin, in one of those, tornado bunkers. What's going on, man?
How we doing? Excited to be here. A lot of good topics today. Let's go. Let's get started.
Yeah, pretty excited, man. So, I mean, one of the big things, and this is really big news, and PK posted this, and Jay Ronald's been posting it. It is this AMD Super Fidelity that's coming to consoles, gonna even go to Xbox One X. It's gonna enhance gaming across all types of different platforms. PK, you want to tell us a little bit about this? Because I'm very excited for it, but I just don't know as much tech as you do.
No, I mean, like I said, we've been talking about it for a while. I mean, it's exciting. So Tuesday, AMD went ahead and dropped the super resolution. I was able to get the update, and the super resolution is basically their version of NVIDIA's DLSS. So instead of using the AI to reconstruct the image, they just I guess they did the algorithm and have static profiles, and it's pretty dope because out the box, just choosing this ultra quality setting and without doing anything else, immediately you can get anywhere between 20 to 30% increase in performance and picture quality. Freaking amazing. What's dope is I think the developer for Terminator that they did the test on, because right now is 13 games that is supported by it, but since it's free and it's out there, developers should be able to download and implement it. And they say it took only an hour to implement. An hour of their time for something free to make their game look better and perform better. And that's dope. And like I said before, when people are crying about, Horizon Zero, Horizon, Forza Horizon 5, uh, quality, ultra quality graphic quality setting is at 4K 30. Well, with the FSR, it could probably run at 4K 60 easily, and they could push it to 4K 120, a setting below that. So it's pretty dope. I mean, high level point is you got consoles out there. It looks like it will be able to support even the Xbox One, the one from 2013 stack, which is great. I'm gonna let you know. Is it possible to support other platforms? Absolutely. Can it support the Switch? Absolutely. Can it support PlayStation? Absolutely. But they don't have the package as of yet to even perform that kind of situation. So as of right now, as we know, 2 months ago, AMD gave the Xbox team all of the package for Fidelity FX as the base and ground level for this going forward. Today, we got more information about the Windows, about the DirectX or Direct Storage feature, which is part of RDNA 2. And the reason why Windows didn't have it is because they were saving it for Windows 11. And more than that, all this RDNA features that we don't have is coming about face. All of them is coming in a full circle. And maybe they were just waiting for Windows 11 to make it all part of one family. I don't know, but it looks pretty dope. So the consoles will be able to take advantage of it, even all the way back to 2013 of the original VCR type Xbox One. And anything that is running bad could more than likely run better. The point of AMD's tech here is not to be better than DLSS, because at some points you can't tell the difference. Some points DLSS is a little more high quality, but let's be honest. When you can support a variety of hardware, including going all the way back to the RX 400 and even the NVIDIA's cards, including the cards that they stopped supporting, right? Going all the way back to the 10 series, the GTX 10 series. If you guys got a 1060, AMD just threw you a lifeline to make your games. If you couldn't even play a game, let's just pretend that your machine couldn't play it. Now you can. You have that lifeline. Now you can get it going. And that seems to be amazing going forward for all the games. I do believe, especially after that tweet, that the Microsoft family, at the very least, will be implementing this in all their games. And it looks like they have 47 other studios and big ones, including EA, Capcom, etc., that's going to pick it up as well. This is amazing. This is something new and revolutionary.
Quick question for you, PK. So could developers also block this technology, let's say if they wanted to make a remastered version of a game?
So I wouldn't say block. I would say intentionally not use, right? Because it's there. You just got to basically install it like any other app and just hit the switch to turn it on and implement it. So it's more like they can intentionally not use it for sure. But that will also mean their remasters have to be justified. It has to be a real remaster and not just a HD upgrade, because that's exactly what this tech does. Is basically takes. So if you run it at 4K, what it does is it lowers the resolution and then upscales it by rebuilding the image to the same quality as 4K. So that's basically how it works. Of course, if you go below 1080p, it might not be worth it, because then you're, lowering any image below 1080p might not be the best picture in the world. But at the very least, if you stick to high quality, you will get a better picture and better frame rate, 100%.
Gotcha. Based on what PK said so far, does anybody on the panel have questions? Do you guys understand it?
Yeah, I think what PK was saying there. I think the best console that's going to really appreciate this is the Series S. isn't it? I think.
Well, all of them, all of the
Yeah.
Xbox stack in general, because they have the entire GTX or development kit for Fidelity X. No other platform holder has that.
Yeah.
Right now.
So we're
anyway.
talking all the way back to the Xbox One.
All the way
Yes.
back to the Xbox One, which shocked me.
The OG
I was-
VCR Xbox One.
The OG
That's an Xbox One.
Xbox One.
I'm just making sure. So there's clarity here.
So, but yeah, I'll say so. There was 13 games that we know of right now that are implementing this tech, right? And we expect that to grow, obviously, right? So, is this something like this is a hardware sort of level upgrade, right?
No.
So it's all software, right?
Yeah, it's basically it's a spatial tech that does upscaling with a sharpening on the end. So
This has to have
basically an
on the
algorithm.
development end,
Right.
as far as the game devs, right? So it's up to the game devs to either give us these updates or implement them in new games. And I wonder if is it based on the engines that they're using to be able to implement that, or is it not have anything to do with the engines? That's the question.
Nope, they just need the developer kit from AMD. Basically, it is built on open source GPU, which is an open source technology. They can it's free to use, so it doesn't cost.
So
them
it can
anything.
work in Unreal Engine, it can work in Frostbite, it can work in CryEngine. All they have to do is just turn it on.
Turn it on.
And so, in my opinion, there's no excuse for any developers out there not to implement this tech, right?
I would say so. That's true.
So if they're not using it, then it would be for either because they just simply don't care, or they are trying to either sell us a remaster where they do turn it on, right, and do some other things as well, or that's the only reasons I could think that they wouldn't be doing it.
I mean,
right?
The way I see it is it's so you have profiles that you choose when you want to play performance and visual quality and all that. So it's going to be similar, but this time I would say the choices will be reduced heavily because it's going to be almost no comparison.
Right. So I'm wondering if there's some of these stats on the new games that we're hearing about, right? Like, okay, for Forza Horizon 5, we're getting two modes that we know of right now. One is a 4K 30 with ray tracing in the Forza Vista, right? Where it's like super high quality visuals, right? Mainly made what I'm assuming for photo mode, right? And then you also have the 4K 60 performance mode, which is using some kind of 4K voodoo tech or whatever to be 4K, and maybe a little bit lesser image quality. Now, do we think that games like that, when they announce and tell us this stuff, are already taking this into account? Because they've had to have known about this tech, right? You would think. And they're coming out with statistics on a brand new game. So I'm wondering if that's already implemented in something like Forza with Forza Horizon 5 or not.
Nope.
I don't know.
Nothing was implemented as of yet. Like I said, nothing was implemented except for the games that AMD announced, which was like Godfall. Right. So though they did have the developer kits 2 months early, and since it did officially release on the 22nd, I'm pretty sure that they got their hands on it now and can definitely enable it later on. And just give you guys a kind of a idea. So like Godfall is one of the, Godfall is just one of the games that they chose to approach with Epic. And native 4K with a 6800 XT, which is one of their better cards, right? One of their best cards. With 4K and ray tracing enabled, it runs about 65 frames. If you turn FSR on, it jumps to 93 frames at ultra quality. Now, if you just, and like I said, they got like, was it 4 modes. So if you do performance, it jumps to 128 frames. So, but again, you're sacrificing some image quality when you want to go strictly performance. So with the ultra quality alone, it's a 30% boost in performance and image quality, and it just works. It doesn't it lessens the
Yeah.
overhead on your actual hardware so that it could do other stuff.
So it should be easier for them to hit 60 frames on console games going forward using
No
this.
question.
Right.
Even
And it'd be able to
the
have higher
original
quality imaging.
Xbox, even the
Right.
original Xbox.
So let's get all those updates, Xbox. Let's go.
So
we've already been getting some. Let's get more.
for me to clarify things, right? Is this just like when DLSS came out for ray tracing? Like it made it all go very more smoothly with the ray tracing? Is this like similar, basically?
So DLSS, the first version was kind of messy. It's more closer to 2.0 than it is to 1.0. So
Okay.
the thing is, and to kind of comment on what Mav said, is if they don't implement it, it's more than likely because NVIDIA is trying to counter it and pay them to only implement DLSS. Well, DLSS doesn't exist on console, right? Because it requires NVIDIA hardware. The
Yeah.
difference is what AMD's offering doesn't require any kind of hardware outside of you got to be at a very minimum of 10 series or RX 400 series and up. That's it. As long as you are in that parameters, it doesn't matter. So I think it would, unless NVIDIA, like I said, comes out strong and paying developers to, do like a Sony move and pay them to keep the FSR off of the game. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't do it because it doesn't cost them anything. It takes an hour or less to implement.
Okay.
What are your thoughts then? And I don't know tech and stuff like that, but as soon as I saw this, obviously it does frame rate boost and resolution boost. The immediate thing I thought was, will that affect, or could Microsoft use this in our already frame rate boosted games that they've done to uprate the fidelity or resolution, shall we say, in those games?
So I won't say resolution. I don't want to say that because that's not what
Okay.
it's doing here. What
Okay.
it's doing is boosting performance and graphic fidelity. So for older games, yes, it is very possible for them to implement it in older games. And let's just pretend there's a game that kind of like Cyberpunk, it run kind of bad on last gen. I'm not going to say it's going to be a miracle, right? But it will make that game run a lot better, which means less horsepower needs to be used from the hardware, which means it can do more things within the game. So it can actually, you can see more stuff going on in a game. Like I know on the original Xbox One, the city seems unpopulated. Well, that's because it doesn't have a lot of RAM and it can't, obviously it's a little less powerful. But if you can take that away and then push, and it's just like anything, you take the heavy lifting off of the hardware, you could do a lot more. So that's the idea. So it's not resolution. I don't want to say that. It's just allowing the graphic fidelity to be where it's supposed to be and boosting the performance so you can get a higher FPS count. So, that goes for the series, console, S, or any game. Yes, they can go back and apply it to anything if they choose to. Because it like I said, it's open source, takes about an hour to implement. They can do it to anything, and including on the Switch. Though,
Yeah.
again, that's up in the air.
All right. So, yeah, go ahead, Flamish.
Yeah, I have one more question. Like, even for games that now run on the Series X that we don't have a patch for, will that also improve, like on the older games, also on the Series consoles?
Absolutely, because again, how it works is it is a spatial technology that basically lowers the resolution and it rebuilds the image to the same quality that it was in the beginning, and do a sharpener at the end, so it tends sometimes look better. But since it's doing that, it takes the heavy lifting off of the hardware, and the hardware can push more frames to the screen.
Okay.
So
And
I
to be-
expect 500 updates within 1 month. I want 500. I have over 500 games in my library. I expect 500 updates to happen, be small updates, and I want all these games to all of a sudden look better. Let's make it happen, guys.
So that is the only caveat, right? It's going to be developer dependent, so it's going to be up to them. I'm pretty certain that everyone under the Xbox umbrella is definitely going to take advantage of this. They partnered with Microsoft to create a lot of this technology, especially Microsoft has their own machine learning and direct storage. All these features that are in the series console now is coming around. So
I want to ask PK another question about this, okay? Because I have a theory, and I want to know if you think this is possible or if I'm going crazy, okay? Xbox and AMD have been partnering heavily with this stuff, right? So, and I'd also, Xbox is talking about AMD is talking about Xbox. Halo is the biggest franchise that Xbox has. They have Master Chief Collection, which has been getting frequent updates. Even in between seasons, they've been getting updates, right? So a couple weeks ago, me and some of our friends, some of the Magnificent Seven from Xbox Ultimate, whatever, we hop on and we start playing Master Chief Collection, right? And we're playing Halo 2 Anniversary multiplayer. And a couple of us stop and look, and it's like, does this look different to you? Right? Like the rocks were like sharper image quality, like just different things, but they did not announce any kind of changes within that. But it was enough for me to notice, and two other people noticed. Me and one person said it at the same time. And then later, 3-Bit joined us in the middle of a game. Now, take it. 3-Bit is a game dev. He builds games. He knows what he's doing. He's playing around in Unreal Engine 5 now. He stops later after he joins us without ever hearing anything that we said. And he says, wow, does this look different? Now, we play a lot of Halo, so we noticed this, okay? And it just looked way sharper and better image quality than we'd ever seen in the Master Chief Collection without an announcement of some kind of an update to Halo 2 Anniversary. Do you think it's possible they could have been testing stuff behind the scenes to see how this stuff may be working or not? Because it was really strange.
I don't think that's practice to test on live production, maybe in a test environment, because they don't know what will happen, could cause an outage. So I don't know about that. I mean, but I would say that they do have the development kits already. They had those 2 months in advance. So and like I said, I don't believe that Microsoft themselves has already implemented anything into any of their games, because it hasn't been officially announced by AMD. So what I do believe, though, since they already had the development kits for all of the Fidelity FXs, they've been preparing, and they definitely have it now, like everybody does, and definitely can implement it and can get it done in a flick of a switch, since they already were preparing for this. So I don't know when you played Halo, but it's not that they can't do it. I just don't think that they would do anything without it being a huge announcement, right? Because that's a big deal, not just for AMD, but also for Xbox, right? They're gonna want to shout it to the freaking mountains.
That's what surprised me, because it was noticeable, but we didn't hear anything, and it was just more than me. It was 3 different people, right? So it was really strange that all 3 different people noticed these visual improvements in something that we didn't hear anything about in any kind of update.
I mean, it could have been just a normal
update.
Yeah, it could have been just a number update, but that doesn't mean that they cannot do anything later. They definitely can apply it. Again, and unless it's officially announced, I don't believe they did any work on any games, not saying they ain't preparing to do so, but best believe when they do, they're gonna want to advertise the crap out of it and make everybody know. They want to say, look at what we did, look at the difference. Let me show you the difference. That's how they roll. They're not gonna do it secretly, and they definitely are not gonna deploy any testing on a production online connection. Is gonna be in a test environment.
Well,
that would be.
I am looking at and this is not, I don't think this has anything to do with the AMD Fidelity with the Halo updates, Mav. But Halo did get a patch note June 2021 for the Master Chief Collection. And it says better visual authenticity for Halo Combat Evolved.
I know I know about that one. And I've seen screenshots from that, but that's in the flight test. And that was, I don't know if that actually hit for season 7 or not yet, but I've seen shots of that. But we get and when that was happening is when we noticed it in Halo 2 Anniversary multiplayer, right? But there was no mention of Halo 2 Anniversary multiplayer in those patch notes. So I know the notes you're talking about. And by the way, the Halo CE stuff, I don't know if I'm even allowed to say anything about it, but oh my gosh, right? So, but yeah, dude, the Halo 2 Anniversary looks different. For anybody that's playing Halo every day, like, you may notice a difference if you actually take a look and actually go like up close, even to like, like Zanzibar. Is it called Zanzibar on Halo 2 Anniversary? I don't remember. But if you go up there and you actually just like look at the rocks on the cliffs near the beach, it's insane. Like they're doing something that wasn't there before.
I mean, that's probably true, but I don't think it's related. But
it may not be related to this.
Yeah. But should it be, then yeah, like I said, I think they would not hesitate to let you know.
Yeah. Cool. I was just curious if it was, you think, as a possibility it had something to do with that, just because it's been like in my brain still ever since that, because it's like they didn't ever mention anything. So right. It makes sense that, yeah, I think you're right. I think they would say something.
Now, the thing is, I know that Halo has like a beta flight as well, that insiders could have entered a long time ago, and I was in that beta flight, although I never used the beta client. But can the beta client connect to like regular live production clients, Mav?
I don't know, because Psychonauts has been playing the flight test.
Okay.
Right. And it was under embargo, some of the stuff that he was watching and seeing, so he wasn't allowed to tell me really what. But I could tell he was happy, right? I had access to the flight test, but I didn't take part in it. But he also did play with us, so I don't know. I think that's something separate you enter. I have to ask him. If Psychonauts can answer, he's in the chat.
Yeah, so, Psychonauts.
I don't know how he handles that.
If you can hear us now. With the flight test, I mean, you don't have to tell us anything about it.
He says it's separate.
Okay, so you can't connect to like Mav if he's playing the regular edition then. Okay,
not while he's playing the flight test.
Okay,
so it's like flight test or game.
Wow. But I mean, it really wouldn't surprise me, because I know overall 343 has really been messing around with Halo Infinite and the graphics and everything. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did slightly update some of this other stuff and just throw it in there, and maybe we'll see it in a future patch note. Either way, though, I'm really excited for the future of Xbox and what they're doing with the technology. We got the AMD Fidelity, we got the booster frame rates that Xbox has already done, and it just seems like the Xbox is really putting a lot of care into their stuff. Now, what PK was talking about, this Fidelity stuff, a lot of it, I think, goes back to when Team Xbox and AMD, what you alluded to, Mav, made partnerships, and they probably talked about this way back when, because we're seeing all this stuff for Xbox and like PC and graphics cards, but we're not seeing it. And I'm not trying to put down PlayStation 5. I'm being honest. I don't see any news for the PlayStation 5 with this. And my only concern is, as a PS5 owner, I would want to see some type of improvement as well, but it just seems like that everything's locked behind next gen upgrades on PS5, they charge separately, and then you got the units, the original PS5 units they're starting to overheat. You got issues that you can't add storage properly because it overheats, and there's rumors that a new PS5 is in development because of the open source of DirectX 12 now on Linux and Unix. So I don't know, PK, do you think that PlayStation 5, the ones right now out in the market, can take advantage of this technology?
His face is frozen on the screen. I thought he was just in deep thought. There he goes. He did not like that question, clowns.
I
Absolutely, he
will
did not.
actually when you what I think, this is speculative, right? Because it's still AMD technology they're using inside the PlayStation 5 as well. Maybe it's possible because they're still using the tech, but I'm not
It's
saying
I don't see
AMD,
why,
but it's
I wouldn't see
also
why it would be able to be
custom.
used.
Right.
Yeah.
They said it's using open source, right? So why wouldn't it be able to be used anywhere else?
Yeah,
You don't need the NVIDIA hardware to use it. So
Well, here's potentially why, as we've alluded to this before when we talked
AMD, I
about
mean.
Fidelity FX a couple weeks ago, is they're already having issues with heat, right? And if maybe there could be something to that there with that, you know what I mean? Because everything that we saw is that, and coming in the future to PS5, when they announced AMD Fidelity FX before, they said it's coming to PS5, but there's no date yet. And our question then is, maybe it was waiting for the revision potentially, or more firmware updates within the PS5 that maybe optimizes it a little bit further before they're ready to implement that. Because right now, like you guys said, you can't even add storage to it properly. There's a storage bay on the device that was there at launch that they actually had an engineer tape a video for us to show us how to access. They showed us how to access this before the PlayStation 5 was announced. They had an engineer in Japan actually disassemble the PS5, and here's where you're going to insert your memory storage, your expandable storage. And it's been like 7 months now, right? And that's still an unused piece of feature on the hardware itself. And there's no obvious answer. They're not giving us even an answer as to when that's going to be solved or fixed. They don't know, right? And at that point, if you realize that they launched a piece of hardware that has something, a feature, a primary hardware feature that is not even being utilized in the hardware, then you start, well, why aren't they implementing new features? Well, because they can't even get the features that are implemented on the hardware that's existing right now to work, right?
Yeah.
So if they can get that, if they can optimize it in a way to actually get what they built to work as they've intended in the first place, maybe I'll start thinking about, hey, are we going to get Fidelity FX? Are we going to get this? Are we going to get that? But I don't know. It just seems like it's not that I don't want one. I still want one because I want to play the games, right? But it just seems like they made some design mistakes with some of their choices, right? And maybe some of it's not their fault. Maybe it all is. I don't know. But all I know is there's one fact that I can point to, and that is it has a empty hard drive slot on the machine that is inaccessible right now to anybody to use. And if 7 months after launch, and that tells me everything that I need to know about how this thing is performing as they intended, and it's not, right? So Fidelity FX, maybe, but if it's going to affect anything with having to ramp up any kind of clock speeds or anything like that, I don't know.
The CPU is definitely going to run harder to run it, right? So I mean, we can only assume more heat will come out of that, right?
I don't know. I don't know how it works. So
I also want to say, does the slot actually have nothing, maybe something to do with a little bit of COVID as well, or the virus in general, because of the limited capacity we have on video cards and all that stuff. Like if they would come up with a card that can actually run at the speeds inside the PlayStation 5, would that not give problems with the market? That's
there's SSDs available everywhere online. There hasn't really been a shortage of solid state drives or NVMe's or anything like that. I don't think.
okay?
Is there a comparable SSD available on the market that will do what the PS5's SSD does?
Yeah, it's
'Cause
the
it is-
NVMe too, right? I mean, it's exactly what it's based off of.
I know, but
Exactly
it's
Series
it,
uses.
it is, but it's a little bit faster because it's modded to what their specs
there's
were.
a
So
couple.
It's a little bit faster.
There's a couple that are available online.
Okay.
But they haven't announced any kind of accessibility or even partnered with anybody to come out with one specifically for it, which is, Xbox had to go.
Absolutely.
They went with Seagate and they're like, they made this partnership for the 1 year thing where like, okay, they're going to make this and it's going to be the only one on the Xbox for the first year. And it's going to be proprietary and it works exactly with the Xbox with a certain intention. The PS5 launched with less storage available, period, and without an expandable storage option for the games. And it would seem that out of the two consoles, it would be more important for the one that even has less storage on it to begin with to have an option. And for them to not even have gone to anybody and partnered with somebody to actually have a solution, that had to be something they were working on. Like if they hadn't been working on something like that, then what are they doing? And the only reason I could think that we haven't seen that actually come out is because they can't implement it right now. And there's probably some kind of announcement that they haven't made just because they can't use it. I would assume so. I don't understand why we haven't seen something. The PS5 has the read-write speeds of the PS5. So a lot of people say nothing has it, right? The PS5 does. So if it's in the PS5, it exists.
Yeah.
Do we know who manufactured the PS5 hard drive? Do we know?
It was custom.
Custom? But who manufactured it or had been manufactured?
No, I don't know. I just everybody's answer to anything with the PS5 is custom.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Clemus, you've had yours open. Whose name's on the chip?
What? I have mine not open. Not to
I
that.
thought you put the sides on. You didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't open it up all the way.
You just rip the plate off and you put the new one. You don't go inside the console at all. You don't take on screws or anything. Just like the plates come off just by pulling the sides. It's really easy. Like I'm not going inside my PlayStation 5 at all. I'm happy. I have no problems at all with that with my PlayStation 5. So I'm gonna keep it that way.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to go in there. But
Somebody's had to open it. Somebody's name's on the chip. I mean, I wonder whose it is.
I'll actually look it up while we'll do the show.
Hey, what's up, Bindi? I bet you that Spawn Media guy's probably opened his. You probably look up some videos from him.
Yeah. I mean, I was just looking at an article from The Verge back in November.
Somebody manufactured the internal hardware, and I wonder why they didn't partner them any further to do something external. Or they did, and there's an issue, and then that's why they haven't done anything further with it. Maybe it's causing too much heat, so maybe that's the problem, because they don't want to deal with it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a certain rumor as well.
A lot of the rumors and stuff from the press had to do with
But
the
they're
nanometer
rumors
on
too,
the
so
chip.
nobody even knows. So
Yeah.
there's a reason
said,
why, and eventually we'll find out why they haven't released that expansion yet.
Yeah, so Cerny said it'd be great if that happened by launch, but it's likely to be a bit past it. So please hold off on getting that M.2.
And what is a bit? We're coming up on a year now, aren't we? Come on now, boys.
It's been like 8 months,
Yeah, we're 3 months away, 4 months away from it now. Come on.
Yeah.
We've only just left the launch window. Don't forget, Ratchet and Clank's just come out. That was in the launch window, so we're still
October,
still
November.
a while off.
So I've had it for 6 months now.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of worried too, because I got a launch edition, digital edition, right? And I want to be able to add more storage. And it's, it's not just complaining. It's like, I wish we had real reasons why. I wish Sony would come out and say, this is the problem, we need to fix it, but we're not going to get that from Sony. You guys
will get those expansion cards for that memory when they release a new version of the PS5 next year.
So they would need to have a heat sink so large that they won't fit into PS5's drive bay, supposedly. That's what Cerny
how much
said.
larger of a heat sink do they need to be on?
I don't know. So
PS5? I mean,
Cerny, at the very
that
least,
cooling.
this is from November last year. It says at the very least, Cerny suggested off-the-shelf SSDs would need to deliver more than 5.5 gigabyte per second of bandwidth over a PCIe Gen 4 connection, and not have a giant heatsink so large that they won't fit into the PS5's drive bay.
So they have something
And
there, and nothing fits.
So there's only a handful, and not a single one was able to tell me their drives will actually work with PS5. Is what these guys went and talked to a bunch of different PCI or NVMe manufacturers, I guess, and or SSDs, M.2 SSD manufacturers, and they spoke to every manufacturer of a PCIe Gen 4 stick drive. There's only a handful, and not a single one was able to tell me their drives will actually work with the PS5. So that was back in November. Two of them suggested that Sony's compatibility testing program hasn't actually even kicked off yet, and that was back in November.
So they potentially have an expansion slot that is useless for nothing because they can't even develop for it.
Yep. And even it's funny because if you put something in there, the PlayStation 5 doesn't recognize it or it doesn't work.
So, I don't know. It just seems pointless. Like,
it's just there for show.
It's there for show right now, and then in hopes one day you may be able to use this feature once technology catches up to the amazing PS5.
When they've remanufactured their PS5.
So they are probably gonna wait to announce a mid-gen refresh. I mean, it just seems that way. That's where they're headed. It is what it is. Man, I'm sad about that. What's up, Dragon? He says we're not explaining it properly. Well, Dragon, feel free to come in here and tell us what we're saying wrong. Then I'll be glad.
I'm reading an article from The Verge with Cerny's words himself.
Yeah, he's reading Cerny's words. Dragon. Flamish, if Dragon wants to come on, just send him the Zoom link.
Oh yeah, I'll send him.
So, if he comes on, we can bring this topic up, but there's something I was really excited about today, guys. And I'm probably fanboying over it for no reason. It's Windows 11. And I know for a fact that... Oh, a 6-layer pasted the answer. Windows 11. I'm really happy because I've seen stats on this that it actually is cooler. It's cooler than Windows 10 as far as temperature-wise. It's faster. It allocates better. The stacks are better. And we saw better teams in the demonstration with the way the transitions were done compared to the old teams. So I'm really excited about it. But it also has xCloud built into it, which I assume into the Xbox app. It's built more for gaming, auto HDR versus regular SDR. I mean, I just can't wait to upgrade. Now, thanks to PK and research on TPM modules, a lot of you out there who have, let's say, a 9th gen chip may run into issues with TPM modules if you have a Asus Z390A, P, or M motherboard, or some other motherboards along those lines. So you're going to be told that you can't upgrade to Windows 11. Well, what you need to do is go to the advanced settings and need to turn on Intel's PTT, and that will bypass the TPM requirements and allow you to install Windows 11. There are other ways on the internet as well that explain other steps, but I do not recommend those. I would wait for the real builds and do it the right way with Intel's PTT, which I'm very excited for. I mean, I don't know if all you guys watched the Windows 11, but I could hype this up for you. Any questions you have? So anybody on this panel as hyped for Windows 11 as I am?
Now, is Windows 11 going to be a free upgrade, correct? Is that what they said?
Yep, free upgrade.
I'm not really excited because
Sign your life away. It's going to be great.
It's let me tell you why. I don't want to invest a lot of time in learning Windows again because it's gonna be somewhat different. I know I'm a little bit pessimistic maybe about it, but yeah, it's cool. But it's cooler if you have a tablet and all that stuff just integrates well together, in my opinion, because all gonna work the same basically, which isn't right now. But yeah, for me as a gamer, and not really using that much widgets and all the stuff that they're putting in. Yeah, I'm not too excited about learning Windows all over again.
Well, it looks, on the face, it looks different, right? The stack is faster. It looks more kind of like a Mac. I don't want to say that, but it does. But still the file management system is all the same. The way the updates is all the same. So it's, oh no, updates are actually faster. They're 15% something.
Yeah, and they do it in the background as well.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I'm excited for that I know of.
But it's kind of done through Windows Update as well. So yes, there's nothing to be scared of, Flamish. At first there may be issues with whatchamacallit. Oh, is that PK trying to come back in? There may be some issues here and there with different drivers. It's Lemon to preach his love for Windows 11. What is going on, buddy?
Yo, what up? What's good?
What's going on?
All right, I was listening to y'all. It's partial right, but you, Mav, you got to understand. Mark Cerny say a lot of shit that's not right, and he's a super engineer, right? He also said the Xbox One X couldn't do 4K; it had to be 6 teraflops. So everything he says is not concrete. What's wrong with the PlayStation 5 is both bays cannot operate simultaneously. That's basically what it is. It's either or, right? You know, when you have your Series X or S, you put in your internal hard drive or memory card. People keep calling it memory card. You put in your SSD. Either one can function. You can put software in both. The PlayStation doesn't really need a generational upgrade. They have a design flaw in their motherboard that it can't access both at the same time, which they should have known that. But you know, Mark Cerny and his promises of the SSD, that's what happens. Y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah,
we're just
so that's basically what it is. They don't need a graphical upgrade. They don't need no memory speed. They have a memory allocation issue. That's the problem. Pretty much, that's the problem. If like they designed the PlayStation to fit a flat SSD, right? They have SSDs with heat sinks on it. Being that it's coming from an external source, they should have designed for that. But you could put one in there and leave the cover off. You know what I'm saying? But it's a size thing. But that's the issue in terms of they just need a redo of their motherboard more than anything else, because that's a serious design flaw. But are they going to bring out a console that's 11 to 12? They probably not going to do that because they kind of don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Because the generation of PS5 is still ahead of most of 80 to 90% PCs out there. People don't have 10 teraflop GPUs just sitting around in their house, let alone 12. So that's not the problem. But the problem is definitely a design flaw in the motherboard more than anything else.
Cool.
So, but it's not like you're saying it's not like an overheating issue. It's just a design flaw of the motherboard.
Right. Because listen, like I explained to somebody else, the faster you want these SSDs, the hotter they get. How many people is film stuff with your kids with your cell phone? Don't your cell phone get hot as hell?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. So the faster it is, the faster it is, the more hot it gets. Now, they should have designed that bay for a heat sink, but they didn't. They just thought, oh, we're just going to stick an SSD in there. And they're using 1994's cooling system like you used to cool old systems. They're not using a vapor chamber. We know we're not getting water cooling. They didn't do anything advanced. So their remedy for everything is speed up the fan. You know what speed up the fan means? PlayStation 4 Pro sound effects in terms of how loud it gets. You know, it's old fashioned. So they should have designed that bay with be able to have any type of SSD in terms of that meet the standards of speed that has a heat sink on it. You know what I'm saying? It's not just because the system has an overheating problem, because it really does not. It don't. For one SSD, but where that bay is located, that's a different ballgame. You know, the airflow is not good there. So it's not an issue with the PS5. They just designed the board horribly, man. It's horrible. If you look at that board itself, it's huge for no reason. It looked like it's outdated and they just threw new tech on it. It's huge for no reason. That's why the PlayStation 5 is so big. But if they had took more time out and condensed it and put a better cooling system, we wouldn't even be going through this, besides not being able to access both hard drives at the same time. So I don't know what type of walk around they're going to do for people like me who bought the system day one. But if they bring out another system and fix that flaw and everybody get SSDs, they're going to burn themselves. Because what about the so-called 7.8 million people that have them? What about us? You know, and Mark Cerny, he only reason Mark Cerny talk is to clean up nonsense. He always got an excuse. I'm still waiting for the power of the SSD. We all still waiting. You know what I'm saying? SSD ain't AI based. They not, you know, but you know, it is what it is. But that's what I was trying to say, you know.
It also has a ventilation issue.
Yes, that's what exactly. And where that bay is at, it's a problem. That's why they needed to made the ceiling bigger. Because if you notice, what you see these faster SSDs, you can go to Amazon, anybody can look them up. Do these fast SSDs with heat sinks. It's about a 1/4 inch thick compared to just the flat card itself, the flat SSD itself. So they don't have the space for it. It ain't like it can't fit in there, but you literally could not put the lid on if you put one of them in. That's a design flaw. But will they be making a pro PS5? They don't need to do that. The PS5 is powerful enough. But they have a design issue with the motherboard. It's horrible. And their cooling system is outdated. 1994. That was like a general desktop cooling. Just your fan is loud on your heatsink. Anybody in here build PCs know that. That is outdated. I don't even know who uses that. Even graphic cards, even with the Xbox One X, they use vapor chamber. And they got that vapor chamber from NVIDIA cards, graphic cards. So, you know, that's what I was saying. Like, it's not really like they have a console power problem. They're really having like a heat problem. Like, you know, they can't put it in there and
it's getting too hot. It's overheating.
Yeah. It will definitely. No, it's not overheating, but it will. The PS5s are doing well. I mean, you have people Xbox.
It was before they optimized it with firmware updates.
Right. And
after launch.
You know what the firmware update did, Matt? It turned up the fan.
It turned up the fan and it lowered the clock speed.
Right.
I called this in a DM to people right after that Gamers Nexus video came out. Right. I was like, oh my gosh, this is an actual
when he run
problem.
tests that people can't even spell. I love Gamers Nexus.
I saw that and I was like, if they don't do something with firmware updates, optimization, then they're gonna face a huge issue that they can't recover from. And people thought I was crazy in that DM suggesting that they would turn up the fan speed. People are gonna blow up and overreact, and that they would lower the clock speed a little bit. And guess what? After that, Assassin's Creed got an update where it started performing worse than the Xbox version.
Right. And then everybody freaked out. It's doing too much. Yeah. Right.
So things were happening like that. And people said, I was like, oh, people are going to freak out. Nobody said a thing because they didn't say anything.
But you're also talking to a lot of console dudes. We build PCs. We know on the other side what it entails for these things to operate. And the first thing you got to have is a great cooling system. I don't care what it is. Cell phone, my 4K cameras, anything start to record long or be in usage draws heat.
Well, Midway has a comment for everything we're talking about. He says, it's like iPhone users. It's new to them, but Android has had the tech for 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think they'll have a solution for the heatsink. They possibly have a new cover to allow an SSD to have a heatsink.
That would work. That would work.
But they're probably coming with a resolution for that. That's why
definitely that would work. And you change like how with that case you change how the airflow works because you can hit everything because where it's at is definitely segregated. It's by itself. You know, I changed my thing to matte black and I took it off. There's no ventilation there. It's just a slot for SSD, which is just stupid. Because you brag about, like I said, you brag about this speed, but like I said, you could take your cell phone, film for 5 minutes and touch the back of your phone. It's on fire. That's just what it is. But I don't know how Mark Cerny is supposed to be a genius and you come out with a flaw that makes no sense.
By the way, welcome Psychonauts to the show, everybody.
Hey, how's it going?
And welcome Lemon, of course, too.
You know, I don't want to just bash the PlayStation, but you know, sometimes design flaws happen. We all been through the red ring of death.
Yeah, not me. Not me. I own 4 Xbox 360s. Not one of them red ring, dummy.
You never got the red ring.
You're lucky.
You're lucky.
He's a rare unicorn.
Yo, listen.
In the wild, guys.
Even my modded system went. Even my modded system had red rings. I don't know how you passed that
rings,
up.
Man, that was like I had red rings on my replacement Xboxes from the Xboxes that had the red rings.
Right.
Same here, man.
You know, it's a design flaw, man. But it's not a system hardware flaw. It's not.
Oh, they did. They took care of it. There was nothing about it.
Yeah.
When you say it's a design flaw, though, is it true that the PS5 that we was supposed to come out in end of 2019, before the next gen? Right. I hear that a lot say that it was supposed to come out in 2019. So maybe they actually designed it just to beat the Xbox One X.
Yeah, it was a V6 Civic.
I mean, 360 did it too.
Yeah,
before that system launched, they knew about the red ring. They still released it. It ain't like it. Oh my God, what happened? They knew. They knew. Sony knew. Yeah. You know, but they. But I want to know what's going to happen to the first people that.
But what I'm saying is, if they actually built that, designed that back in 2018, 2019 to just beat the Xbox One X, right? If they did design that, it probably wasn't doing the speeds they've done it now. But the fact that they found out halfway through development or whatever that the Series X is coming out, because I'm sure they knew what each company was doing. They're going to know. They've had to overclock it so much they've thought, shit, we've got to get more performance out of this thing, and it wasn't designed for that. That's why they've had to make
another thing. But hold on,
they've had to make it so big.
When you overclock, that's a number it can reach under stress. That's not the number that it's working at.
Yeah,
it starts off at the base, and when it needs to go to that overclock, it stays there. Now, hopefully, as anybody in this room that might overclock their PCs, we all know this. Hopefully, Sony designed the PlayStation to do that, because if they locked it at 10.2, it's a 9.2 system. That's another problem. No, we don't know what it does.
It's not locked. It's not locked. It's variable.
It's variable.
It was running at 9.2.
Like what Animator said, they definitely they were not going to these were not overclocked at all. And until they caught wind of what the Series X was doing, and then they're like, well, we already have this development. What can we do without having brand new GPU, CPU?
That's what they did.
Bring it up to 11, baby. Let's go. Let's just see how far we can push this.
They overclocked it, and that's why there's a lot of issues that are happening right now with the PS5. Same thing with the SSD. They weren't really. I don't know what the logic is to keep it kind of like tucked up out of the way with no ventilation or anything.
Right. It's horrible design, man. When I seen Gaming Nexus break it down, and he went to the board itself, he connected all these wires. He did a test that I ain't never seen ever done in my life.
It was super thorough, because he not only did all that, Lemon, but he gave extreme explanations about the purpose and the reason behind every single little thing he did, and the preparation that led up to making that decision. Right?
I tell people, you want to learn something, go to Gaming Nexus. You might not understand them, but you'll get an idea better than Digital Foundry.
And it completely unbiased. These guys don't care.
Unbiased,
he's just reporting on the same thing they do with all graphics cards and all of that stuff.
Right.
And they had was just purely what media should do, right? Especially when covering games, is actually just put out, okay, here's the facts and what we've found.
Right.
And this is our findings on what we have investigated. Right. And that is all that he did. And that's why it holds a lot of weight, right?
Oh
And
no,
that's
he's the
why-
man. He's king. I don't care what nobody say. He's king when it comes to that stuff. He knows. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no disputing when he does a test. He even shows the black and white printout of where the heat is going. Remember that part, Mav? He showed you the direction of the airflow with the black and white infrascan, which is just nobody does that. Only he's gonna do that. He has a lot of time in his life.
It's enough to know that there was an issue, but the whole point of this whole conversation was Fidelity FX and me just basically saying like, hey, let's worry about that before we actually start wondering how we're going to get even more performance out of this machine, right?
Yeah.
Because this machine is fine as it is right now. Okay,
Right.
It is what it is. Like you can buy it, you can have a great time playing games and all this stuff, but there's still tech implemented on this machine that we can't even access yet. So until we get access to what was actually put on there to begin with, I don't care about even finding out what new stuff we're going to get for it, because I want what they already gave us to work.
You want the old stuff to work, the original stuff. I'm with you, because if you notice, they haven't made a comment about Fidelity FX yet.
No,
well, no,
not
and
right
see,
now.
that's where we go back to the tech, man. Like, I think they're gonna I think, like Psycho said, they're gonna have to redo the shell. They're gonna have to redo the system, the heat sinks and everything, fix all their problems. And we're gonna see another version of the PlayStation 5 launch after they're done selling all the current editions they got. And I mean, it's got to be what it is. I mean, it's
so what's going to happen to us clowns, the original adopters?
What I think will happen,
we're beta
is that
testers.
They're going to spin it and say that they did the revision to stop the people, the scalpers from what they have, so people can have consoles. And then they're Sony is crazy.
You know what? That's a great take.
That's
on
a
that.
smart way to do it.
That's a Mark Cerny move. That's a Mark Cerny move, because
that's what they already said.
He definitely puts a spin on a lot of stuff. I just be like, he never answers. Whenever he gets answered a serious tech question and he knows there's a problem, he never answers the question straight.
No, he can talk in circles. I mean,
yes, he does.
A lot of PR and mega $1 trillion or mega $1 billion companies. It's just something they do so they don't say the wrong thing.
Right.
And this generation, Sony has been caught saying some wrong things. So I think they're like any other company, they're just trying to hold back and limit what they say now.
Exactly. Now with the Fidelity FX, for me, I think with Sony, what they have, they don't have the full RDNA2 suite, so they have to build what Sony has, RDNA2 type features, and what they have, custom versions, and that's why we have not seen the Fidelity FX yet for PS5 until they have, so they can use what they have custom and RDNA2 suite type tools. We'll see the Fidelity FX.
But here's the trick to that, right? And here's the trick to that. Okay. And I said this last time we were talking about this, clowns. In a world where there's a new PS5 refresh that comes out like a year from now, okay, that can perform enhanced games, that is taking advantage of Fidelity FX, but the one that everybody, 20 million people just bought, can't do, is that going to be a world that we live in a year from now? That
it might be, Mav.
The only way they can get away with that is if they call it the PS5 Pro.
Do you? I want to say something else
with 8K resolution. Ronan says.
Like when they will bring out the new PlayStation 5, right? The revision. Would it actually be stronger than the current one, or would it just be a mistake?
It'll just won't catch on fire. That's I'm not just
kidding. He's gonna have people walking with fire extinguishers.
Would that even would most people not have questions why it's just a revision, not stronger?
You know why I don't believe that, Flamis? Because they invested so much money into those chips for 2 or 3 years. It's not like they invested for 8 months, which we're in, right?
Yeah.
So they just can't go back and say, you know what? We want a new chip. It costs about $1 billion to our research and development a system. It's not it's not a couple $100 million. We talking about $1 billion. So they're vested. You see, Microsoft didn't say, oh, we'll push back the 360 launch and we'll fix the red ring of death, because they knew about it. What they do, they released the system and said, oh, we're just going to have a great return policy. And that's what they did. They're vested. They can't turn around in 8 months and build a system in a year. That's not even business sense.
Especially
they're invested
with
at
all
least
the
No.
issues going on.
Yeah.
not for you, but I'm saying in general.
I'm making like a question for the people.
Right. No,
I think
because I make it simplified so people know what the.
I think with what they're going to do, Flemish, is that because they're going with the 6nm silicon, and it's going to be power efficient, so it's going to run cooler. So when they do overclock it, it's not going to get as hot, and they can stabilize the overclocking and be able to do that.
Right.
So, and possibly end the revision with where the SSD goes, so it can be cooled down with the fan. So I think that's what the whole revision is going to be. So this way,
Which means it'll look different.
So it's going to be the same chip, but different on different wafer. So people are like, well, I got the Gen 1, if you want to call it, PS5, and they don't feel that they pretty much got ripped off. Or
I'm taking mine's back. That happened. I'm using my GameStop Connect. I'm getting full credit, and I'm taking mine.
Unless they have some kind of program that if you bought a PS5 and you
Sony's
can trade it
not
in.
doing that, ain't they?
But I doubt that.
Sony's been for having class action
I mean,
lawsuits filed against them.
Yeah,
they don't care.
But
They
I think
do
that's
not
what
care.
they're going to try to do. They're going to
Microsoft dropped the ball with Red Ring of Death. They had an extra 2-year policy for you to return any system purchase before their policy started.
Spent billions on that.
Billions.
Yeah.
Sony don't want to play that game. Microsoft said, "Oh, dropping a pawn, bring them all back. We'll give you a new slim version," and that's what they did. And before they did that, they fixed everybody's system. You had a short turnaround in less than a week and a half.
Okay, but hold on. Would Sony technically would they not go bankrupt at that point? If they would say
Sony could not afford a Red Ring of Death
They
situation.
can't afford it.
You're going, Flemish, you're entering dangerous speculation territory.
Just
The waters are
speculating.
dangerous.
Okay,
You're going,
I'll stop.
You might get
But that also
leads.
leads to go like
Sorry,
Xbox.
guys.
They make a huge mistake like that. They do it by buying themselves out of it, right?
Right,
Buying
right.
the warranty. Sony has to take a different approach. If they do make a mistake like this with the design flaw, they're going to do everything they can to get what they can out of the system, while they're secretly going to figure out a way to announce something else and then come out with everything that they're going to do is going to be with how they can push it to the people that's most palatable, right?
Mhm.
And they're going to do that, and to where it's not going to affect their business. And that's just the way they operate with everything. That's why we see Jim Ryan tell us one thing that's complete utter BS, and then their actual business is doing something else behind the scenes,
Right.
because they're telling the fans and the customers what they want them to hear.
Yeah.
And what the customers want to hear, while also secretly making sure that they do their best. I'm not saying they're not trying to do their best, right? They're doing their best behind the scenes to take care of the issues, but they can't come out and straight say, "Hey, we screwed up on this.
No, they
we're
won't
going to
never
have a
do that.
revision," because
Right.
they can't
They're not
afford
gonna
do
that.
that.
No, they're not.
They can't
No,
afford
they would
that,
never.
you know?
You'll never hear that.
They can't even.
You
They
know-
can't even do that because they will break. Like they don't want to.
You'll break your people's backs. That's what they'll do. They'll break all their consumers' backs.
Yeah.
That's what they would do.
And they will.
My
don't
back
wanna be
is
held
broken because I
lawsuits.
shouldn't have came in here. Now I feel stupid for buying the system.
No, I mean,
they will
Wyman.
ever have
Just sell
faith
it
in
real
their
quick.
consumer
Just sell
if
it
they
before
do
it
that too.
comes out.
You know, you can sell a used one for like 1,100, right?
Oh,
You're
my
good.
I just want
But-
my 500 back. I don't even want no extra.
Well,
money.
here's the thing, Lemon. Here's the thing, Lemon.
Oh my
I'm
God.
still gonna get a PS5. I want one. I want to play these games, right?
Right.
I'm
right.
gonna wait.
And I'm
for
not.
the
If they
revision.
announce a revision, guess what? I'm gonna be able to sell my current PS5, the one that I get, for
Right.
pretty close to probably at least what I paid for it. So
Right.
that's the way I look at it. I'm not really worried about it.
I mean, I do have a GameStop Connect. I could take mine a year back and get full price and just swap it out, but everybody don't have that. So I got to think like a general consumer. You know what I'm saying? That's a hookup. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to cleaning my house.
I'm waiting for the revision.
Like me,
God of War.
I don't know how it's gonna be here in Europe as well. It's gonna be special.
It's gonna be pandemonium. I know that much. People are not gonna be happy.
In Europe, you guys have a whole different kind of return policy. You guys got like 2 years anyway. And
but if there's a problem, if there's no problem, the return policy doesn't matter.
You know who benefits?
If you went to
GameStop and you bought that 2-year return policy, you can just say anything and they'll take it back and give you a new one.
Just drop it in the tub and say it doesn't work.
Right. Right. You know what I'm saying? My boy says, yo, when you get your Elite, put the insurance on it. Bring it back a couple days. We'll give you another one. They don't care. So that's a good idea.
Lemon, let's just say in those terms, you heard that from a guy on the internet that might have been a good idea, but you don't highly recommend that idea.
Yes. I don't. I do not recommend that. Yep. I sure did. My bad. But look, let me go, man. Thanks a pleasure for having me, man. I wanted to interrupt that. I'm sorry I kicked y'all back on your topics, man. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, man. There's like 106 people watching according to Restream, so hit that like button, share it out. If you're coming in from Facebook, if you're watching from the embed streams, because I know our videos have been really high on Facebook lately, thanks to some friends we have out there. Thank you guys very much. So hit that like button. Like us on Facebook. I mean, we're doing really well on Facebook. So if you're watching embed streams, man, hit that like button. But, Lem, before you get out of here, there's one thing I wanted to talk to you about because you seem very enthusiastic about this, right? You were like, when we were talking about earlier, you just woke up and you had that deep Lemon voice and you were like, this is Lemon. Like really deep, right? I can't do it, but it was like, yo, what's up, guys? And I was like, so how about that Windows 11? And you were like, what? Like you just gave me like that one word answer, like, no. And I was all excited, right?
But you gotta say why, clown. You gotta say why. It's not just.
But I was jumping up and down. I was living the hype train. I was living the dream of Windows 11, right? The auto HDR, the gaming, the xCloud built in, hopefully remote play. All this stuff, faster stacks, better Windows teams. And you were just like. Updates. No clowns.
I don't even know what those mean.
All right, let me say why before I get out of here.
First say why, and then I'll tell you why.
All of us in this room are content creators. You using some type of XPlay, OBS. You got graphic cards. You got all your programs set up. You got Stream Decks. When they bring out new software, there's always compatibility issues, and I'm not ruining my podcast, my channel, nothing. For the stuff that I use every day, every week. I'll wait until the software from the third-party partners catch up. Windows 11 looks awesome. I'm just not installing it day one. I got too much vested in OBS and everything else I got set up. I'm not doing it. Imagine if I had to reset
that update hits,
my editing program alone because this ain't working now. That ain't. No, I'm not doing it. I'm just not. No, usually I'll early adapt, but I'm just playing games on my PC. Who cares? But then, some graphic cards ain't gonna work. I ain't gonna have that problem. Some CPUs ain't gonna work. I'm not gonna have that. I just built a brand new PC, but it's everything else. OBS is very important. That's what it is, man. Windows 11. I watched the keynote today. I said, damn, that's awesome. They bringing a lot of them Xbox Series X features over there. Ain't that a difference? Console is changing PC life. Can y'all believe that?
Listen.
I was like, wow, that's an Xbox Series X.
You're going to hit the update on your PC one day. It's going to go to Windows 11, and you're going to be like, oh, crap, I just updated. And then when you turn on your 8K camera and it looks like a 360 pixel, you're going to thank clowns. The first person you're going to call is me, and you're going to be like, how do I fix this immediately?
You're facts.
I'll be like,
have you and PK on. Nah, man.
It's gonna turn into one of those Xbox 360 live vision cameras.
The day that happens, Runaway Dragons TV's dead to YouTube. I'm done. If I gotta do everything from scratch again, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. That's like, I feel like this PlayStation 5. Why did I do this to myself? I should have kept my 542 in my pocket. Damn.
They will have
Thank you, Mav. I appreciate you
compatibility,
for making me feel so much better today. So much better.
You're
But look, let
awesome.
me go, man. Sorry I interrupted
All right,
y'all,
man.
but I really wanted to jump in for that topic, man, because I was explaining to some people about Ratchet and Clank can't be done on PS4, and they was like, why? So I started explaining it to them. But when you talk off the top of your head, some people, when they do that, they don't understand the logistics behind something. So I had to hit them with some, I hate to use them dudes, but Digital Foundry pointed it out. So if anybody wants to know why Ratchet and Clank will not be on PS4, go look at the Digital Foundry video at the 740 mark. They explain it. I said this last week. Nobody believed me. It's like Mav. When you say certain things, people go, "You're crazy," until they get them facts. And then they're like, "Well, it still could be done." I said, "You know what? You're right." But look, let me go. Holler at y'all later, man.
Lemon.
Enjoy the rest
Yeah,
of the
have a good
show.
night,
I'm
man.
gonna listen. I'm gonna listen.
Hey, later,
Like,
Lemon.
yo, finest.
Have a good one, brother.
All right.
Peace out,
All right,
brother.
Anthony.
Thank you.
All right.
So I take it I'm the only one on this Windows 11 hype train. That's
No.
it. Like,
No. I haven't spoke yet. I haven't spoke yet. You
okay.
guys
If
know.
any, hit
I'm
us
super
with the-
hype about this 11.
hit us
I don't
with
know
church,
if anybody's
Infinite.
adopted or if anybody here on the panel has or even in the chat has the Surface Pro 5, 7. I mean, phenomenal pieces of equipment, but that ability to go from tablet to PC isn't as seamless as they chalked it up to be. And hopefully with 11,
No.
it does end up being that way. Phenomenal piece of hardware. My wife she's an Apple fan. I do have an Apple phone, but unfortunately, because Microsoft doesn't offer anything comparable. But I am definitely a Surface Pro fan. 2 3s, a 5, and a 7. Hopefully 7 soon. But that's what I'm going for. And hopefully that new Windows 11 with that integrability of having that transition from a tablet to a laptop should be there this time around. And that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. I think that with the it will be compatible with a lot of Windows 10's programs. I don't think they're going to make Windows 11 and then everything is just going to have issues.
Right here, phenomenal piece of equipment, super fast, capable. I don't understand why everybody doesn't have one, but
Money.
I hope so.
If
If you guys, if you can
I'll
save
say-
for an Xbox Series X, you can save for Pro as well, for Surface, no doubt about it.
I'll say this, Psycho, when it comes to updating like to different OS, like because every time I've done it, there's like always like driver issues, right? It's like
there's
it's like
usually is.
driver issues, or there's like all of a sudden you have a program that won't work and just like crashes when you're trying to open it out of nowhere, right? And just like just weird stuff like that. And then God forbid you get like a blue screen or something, right? But I understand what Lemon's saying just about the content creation thing, because like if it were to reset everything, and if I had an issue, like it would be a lot of work to go and implement back all the scenes and everything.
Well,
right?
OBS updates to the cloud. Just make sure you back it up. You could save
Actually,
different profiles too.
I do
Name
want
them.
to say I installed my Windows twice again because I had problems, right, in the last few months, and everything was saved immediately from
Same
the
here.
cloud, like on my account. I didn't have to do anything. Everything was done again. I just had the files to put them on my PC again to my hard drive, but everything was saved. So
Yeah.
actually, I can be a guinea pig because I have everything saved up, and I don't have that much work. Like I can be the guinea pig and tell everyone if it's okay to just move over without any
okay.
problems.
Let's do that.
And that Klaus has to tell me how all that stuff works.
I
But
want
I'm
you to do
assuming-
that for me.
But I'm assuming Microsoft probably worked with a lot of these companies to have drivers ready for Windows 11. They probably didn't just like one day wake up like, hey, we're gonna do the Windows 11. Hope you guys are ready.
Just no,
You know?
they did the same thing with Windows 10. Windows 10 was had not so major issues in my opinion. Like
I
when
didn't
it first
have
launched.
when I went from Windows.
I don't remember it.
8.1 to
Yeah.
Windows 10. There was really I had maybe a couple drivers, but they were fixed. There were no
Everything
major
was
issues.
smooth. Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's probably the same thing with Windows 11.
Yeah, it's gonna be a slight upgrade, if anything.
Yeah, and
We're not talking 98 to ME here, anyways. They've learned their lesson,
Right.
just like they learned their lesson with
Yeah.
the Red Ring
And-
of Death. You're not
Yeah,
gonna do that again.
I'm excited that we're gonna get smaller update files. Because this way, I'm not sitting there and oh look, I got 14 updates, sweet, and they're like over a couple gigs. I'm like, awesome.
Yeah,
So-
at least we don't like the update system is like the most exciting for me because every week I have to update my PC apparently somewhat, and then it's like shut it off, and it takes like
Yeah.
a few minutes
And-
till if it yeah.
And whatever this Windows 11 is, I'm gonna guarantee we probably get something similar for the Xbox series, because they have said that the car have like different file size for different things, so when they do updates for the UI, it's like it's not just one big chunk, it's not the entire UI. It's like, okay, we're gonna do this. They pick and choose what they can update now. So I'm assuming that that's what this is maybe entailed.
I think I remember when we got Windows 10, didn't we all get like big updates shortly after on Xbox? Like where they
Absolutely.
changed the whole dash and everything, and that's when we
Yep.
got things started to look better and
Yep.
started getting improved, right? So yeah,
Maybe we'll get a 4K HDR UI for Xbox.
So one question: does anyone know when it releases? Like when is release date?
Not as of yet.
so
They just got the. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Clones.
June 28th, it's coming into the insider builds, depending on what channel you're in for Windows Insiders. So I moved myself
Okay.
to the dev channel. Now I noticed in the dev channel, I already have some of the file manager features of Windows 11. I just don't have everything else of Windows 11. So they've already been testing like little pieces here and there. And for the mass consumer, it's supposed, they say holiday 2021, which could, I mean, be as early as what, the first day of fall, to be honest with you. So
Okay.
everybody's going to be getting a free upgrade eventually.
Yeah, it's going to launch with the Halo Infinite.
Just
Yeah,
please
imagine.
don't. just do it
You
later.
get a free Windows
Come on.
11 server build.
Yeah.
Wait, so I keep hearing people say there's like more stacks.
Yes,
What
faster
the hell
stacks.
is that? What is a stack?
Yeah, what's this?
Do I understand it exactly? No, but what I can tell you is everybody that understands it says it. So I just imagine maybe the DLLs are moving faster, it's connecting faster, it's hooking faster, the internal APIs are just connecting faster, like there's no...
all that
between.
stuff. Okay.
Yeah, you know, all the guts of the machine kind of, it's like
Well,
the
it all
blood
makes sense
flowing
now.
through
Thanks
the
for
OS.
clearing it up.
amazing.
You know,
You ever,
That's
you ever,
amazing.
you
Like
ever
classes-
defrag your hard drive and you see that stack of drives and then it goes up different colors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
It's-
stacks
It's
get
not like
faster.
a hamburger stack where you add
It's just-
bacon and it just gets
It's just
sloppy, you
amazing.
know?
Like Clancy
Oh,
was
see,
telling
Six
like
said I was
that's
right.
fast
Has to do
stacks
with
is
memory.
awesome.
It's probably the
Um,
way the
What the
stacks are
fuck is a
configured.
stack? You know.
So
Oh my god.
Danielle Rubino from Windows Central posted an image on July
Some
8th,
stacks.
on June 18th. No, not stacks. He posted
Oh.
Geekbench 5 stats, but not stacks. So
Oh, okay.
a Windows 10 single core hits 1138. On Windows 11, that single core hits 1251. A multi-core on 10 hits 6284. On 11, that multi-core hits 7444. Now, on 10, 4.8 gigahertz. On 11, 4.9 gigahertz. And it's also
Okay.
4 degrees Celsius cooler on the
So
CPU.
it's less taxing on the hardware. Nice.
Less
And
taxing.
more efficient, obviously.
Oh, nice.
That's what
So
you
he-
should do.
I think
He he
what we
breaks
need
it
to know,
down.
I think what we need to know in layman's terms, could a tin pot laptop running now that Windows 10 that's running okay, will it run better with Windows 11?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
exactly what it's saying.
Yeah.
That's
Older
yeah,
hardware
that's-
will run better on Windows 11. Now,
Yeah.
there's some caveats to this, right? So, first, let me go into the stats that Psychonauts might appreciate here that Daniel posted. So, Daniel posted overall, single core score is 9 8.04% better overall on Windows 11. 15.59% multi-core better in Windows 11. 2.05% faster CPU clock speed in Windows 11, and 4.13% cooler CPU temp in Windows 11. So that's a big deal when you're trying to multitask and use Adobe, and then maybe Mav, you're trying to stream. Caitlin's running Adobe on the other side of your monitor. She's sitting in the room with you, and you're like, "Hey, no, get away from me! I'm trying to stream." She's like, "No, I'm trying to do Adobe." You know what I mean? Like, it will work better.
Yeah.
It just will work, Mav. Trust me.
Yeah,
work.
any
I have
decrease
faith
in
now.
temperature is always good for CPU.
Yeah, when you can get efficient without using more power, why not?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And also, Sick in the chat has said that it has to do with memory. The stacks, the instructions computers run are stacked. It's like lost in, lost
Function
out.
cost. So like DLLs, right? Right, Sick, if I'm correct. You're talking about like DLLs. They talk to each other. They're like a stack of functions that call upon another function.
Yeah, so they're working faster than to actually make stuff work, basically, and do stuff after each other, like all the time.
Also, this is very important for a lot of you out there. I recommend that you run the PC health check by MS, because it will tell you if you can run Windows 11. The biggest problem that some people are running into, okay, and there's workarounds, and I could talk about the proper workarounds and the workarounds that we should never talk about, and that somebody on the internet said, kind of thing. So basically, Windows 11 wants you to have TPM 2.0 security on your motherboard. Now, some Asus motherboards didn't have that. You had to buy the TPM 2.0 chip separately, which now everybody on Amazon is buying up and selling for $34 when they were once $19. They're jacking the price up. Some motherboards don't have TPM at all, which is a problem for people that want to run Windows 11. Especially, I found this issue very common with 9th gen chips, motherboards. So the way around this is in the BIOS. If your BIOS supports Intel PTT, you could turn on Intel's PTT in the advanced settings, and it's like under PCH-CFW, something like that. And it's Intel's way of implementing a TPM without an actual TPM. And then your PC will now be able to run Windows 11.
What about AMD?
Yeah.
AMD, I think AMD does have a bypass too, but I think actually most AMD boards support TPM.
Okay.
Can we read Six Layers comment in the chat real quick? Because he explains what a stack is very, very well, I think.
I got his food reference.
Yeah, he says a stack is an array or list structure of function, calls, and parameters used in modern computer programming and CPU architecture. Similar to a stack of plates at a buffet restaurant or cafeteria, elements in a stack are added or removed from the top of the stack in a last in first out, or LIFO order. It makes a lot of sense. Okay, thank you, sir. That's a stack. It's just computing data, pretty much.
Yeah. Like the plates in a buffet. Which yeah, okay.
Faster stacks. Now I'm excited about faster stacks.
But he also says that it's only going to be 64-bit chips, no 32. So if anyone is running 32, Windows 11 is not going to work.
Why? I don't
who is running 32 anymore is the question.
Well, older, I know
Legacy,
some PCs.
Legacy hardware
from a long time ago. Yeah,
from Windows 7 and before.
Yes.
So
there's a lot of there's actually a lot of.
No, Sick, the TPM thing is not overblown. If you have tried, let's say, a copy of Windows 11 that is already out there from the dev builds, if you don't have TPM, it does not run. It says it cannot run the software at all whatsoever. Now, there are people doing things to bypass that. on 9th gen chips especially. One is the proper way of turning on PTT, Intel's PTT. The second way, which is not going to help you if you have to do a Windows 11 update later on, is there's a DLL, I think it's called Ares DLL, some weird name like that. Some people, according to the internet, which I do not recommend doing, by the way, it's not a good idea because it's probably a violation, but some people are switching that DLL from the Windows 10 ISO into the Windows 11 ISO to try to get them to run. And this is all over forums already that even like magazines like Forbes have listed to. The problem with that is you do stuff like that and then you get an update that replaces that DLL. All of a sudden it's going to be looking for TPM and your thing ain't going to boot. It's not going to boot. And then an average consumer like Flamish will be sitting at his computer and be like, but what do I do now? My friend gave me this Windows 11 disk and it worked. And then I had an update. And now it says cannot boot.
Yeah.
So, no, it is a big thing, Sick. The only thing is I hope that they get enough backlash so that they take it away. I mean, obviously, TPM
that or maybe they'll have it as when it goes installed, it does a system, and then it will check to see if it's there, and then it won't install if it's not.
I don't know what y'all are talking about, and that's okay.
Well, let's just say use it.
I'm sure it'd be under system requirements.
Get it the legitimate way. Wait for the
Okay, so just wait for Windows 11. Okay,
yes,
got it.
Wait for the release and don't try it right now.
Okay,
that's the thing. Like it can only give you more problems.
Well, I mean, that could be true, Sick. We don't know yet on the insider builds. But as far as the TPM thing, Microsoft is really adamant about it this time because they want to place all the keys on the TPM instead of the OS, which I know we're getting a little bit technical, and I don't know why they think it's more secure. It has something to do with, you could just take the TPM chip off the board and it just won't boot. Yeah, I know. Early days, Windows 10 was the same way. They really tried to push it back then, and they stopped. And then motherboard stopped supporting it. Yes, and this is why I ended up with the 9th gen motherboard. It does not have a TPM module because of all the shiftiness that went on. But
somebody tell me what TPM means.
Let me look up the proper terminology.
What is
the
it?
trusted platform module?
Yes, that's it.
Also, there is a video online by Linus Tech Tips who actually went into in Windows 11 and talked about all that stuff. So I'll probably put it in the chat as well. I'll look it up right now so you can look at that.
So the last topic before we get out of here, because I know Mav is like, now we're going to be dreaming about TPM numbers. What does this mean?
There's just too many things that are like TPM, DLL, OS, ISO kit.
Xbox what?
That's, yeah. It just goes over my head.
So real quick, I mean, this is going to be a real quick one before we get out of here. But they did upgrades to the cloud with Series X blades. And they're saying that Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon, it runs like so much better and smoother.
Okay, I have another question. I'm sorry. Yeah. I know I keep interrupting with questions. What is a blade? What is a blade?
That's what they call the racks, like in the cloud. That like you stick a.
Okay, so you're talking about like a rack of servers, and there's like a thing in there. Okay.
That's what they mean.
Okay. Think of it like a motherboard in a dock.
Yeah,
exactly.
Think of a motherboard going sliding in and out. Just think of that, but it's usually in the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just server blade.
I just think of like a scene in Mission Impossible when he goes into like a server room. You know what I mean? And
pulls out the little thing. That's a stack or a blade.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, continue, sir.
That's a blade, and they can be stacked.
So. Thanks, Sick. Thanks for hanging out with us, man. Yeah, it's the Xbox Series X motherboard and a stack of servers, what Creasy Greek dude alluded to. It's probably an easier explanation, Mav, than me throwing out the terminology by, The Verge or something. But they're already saying that it's making it a lot better. I don't know if everybody has access to xCloud, and I know some of it might still be under NDA, so I can't personally talk about it. But these magazines are saying that it makes it run better, makes it run smoother. It's more powerful in the cloud, less latency, things like that. So
Yeah.
Mav's just looking around the room.
No, I understand some of this. I just don't. When they say certain words, I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. I just don't want to know what they mean by that. So like blades is one of them. Has always been one of them. Now I know. And the other one was stacks. We figured that out. So now that I know what blades and stacks are, we can have a great conversation because I know that when I read this, when they talked about implementing the Series X blades, it was also coming out with updates that would allow for Series X games to be ran in the cloud as opposed to just the Xbox One versions of games. So it's not just that it's performing better, it's also going to be better versions of the games. So, fat stacks, big blades, let's make it all happen and get those frames up.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. Yeah, it's awesome that the cloud is getting better. I'm excited because I got this baby right recently. It's it's a Note 20. Okay. I got out of the iPhone game, right? Wow, I'm done.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Congratulations, man.
It was
right choice.
Everybody, well done.
Well done.
It was long overdue, right? And I have access now to high quality cloud gaming because of this move. And with these new blades, it's only improving my experience, right? So let's get more blades in there and as many blades as you need to make it as seamless as possible. Just give me all the blades.
Give them all.
I've got a feeling if you say blade one more time, Wesley Snipes is going to pop up and tell you to shut up.
What I'm thinking about when you talk about blades and stacks and stuff, I think about a nice juicy hamburger. You put something on there, you take your blade, you chop it up. Nah.
Flemish always goes to food. What the hell?
Always going to food. It's my thing.
So wait, does that mean Starfield's going to play better in the cloud?
Oh, every game.
Clowns,
every game.
What did Sarah Bond say? Animated?
Well, I have to admit, I did have a little chat with Sarah Bond.
Oh, you did?
I did. I rang her up and said, Sarah, what have you got to say about Starfield? And she said, do you know what, Animated? I'm going to tell you one thing and one thing only.
And yes, it's exclusive.
That is amazing.
She did.
Thank you, Sarah.
She said that, and you know what? We're fast friends now. We're fast friends.
Nice.
Last episode, Sarah made an appearance about 17 times. Every time Starfield was mentioned, that clip was played.
And yes, it's exclusive.
I love it. Hey, so I'm wondering if it's exclusive though. You know what I mean? Because I heard via an article recently that it might still come to PS5.
Yeah, with Horizon 5, right? That same article.
The same date, the same day.
It's hilarious what they think. Like, even if you say clearly and you put it clearly on streams and they talk about it clearly, every time they talk about it, still not enough. They still don't believe it.
I think Animated's going to have to fact check everybody again.
Well, like I said, we're fast friends, me and Sarah, and I did ask Sarah, and she said to me,
and yes, it's exclusive.
So if you had any doubt,
I love that.
You had any doubt, it's exclusive.
Yeah.
3-bit says exclusive to PS5.
3-bit, I will fight you.
Getting dirty.
Oh man, great show.
Yeah, so, I think we're kind of leading up to the point where we all get out of here. And, I got to hear it one more time, Animated. What's exclusive again? Because I thought Starfield was going to PS5.
Well, I did ask Sarah when we were on the phone together. I said, Sarah, please tell me. the status of Starfield, and she said, "Guess what, animated? Guess what?"
And yes, it's exclusive.
Can somebody call a veterinarian, because I hear a lot of screaming ponies right now.
No, they'll be all right.
Don't go there.
Free bit will be okay. Free bit will be okay because you made that song for him. That song, you know.
Oh my God, I love it.
See, last week when Carlo's dog, no offense, I hope your dog's doing fine, Carlo. But last week when your dog was at the veterinarian, you should have asked him if they had seen any ponies lately.
No. No. But
They're
that
crying in the stable.
Matthew Wine song on Mav's channel about 3-bit is great.
Yeah, hold on, let me bring it up as well.
I'm gonna drop that link in the chat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
we
do it
need,
right
yo,
now.
Mav, we need to like hear more of that Matthew Wine song in the future. It is a really good song. I can't get over it, man. But you know what? We're about to get out of here anyway. We've almost been here 2 hours, and we lost PK early on, and I feel bad because it's a tech show tonight. And Animated, you know, I want to ask, where can we find you? Oh, and soon we'll be able to find most of you on IMDb. But where can we find you?
Yes, other than on the phone to Sarah Bond, other than there, you can find me here on a Tuesday if you ever put the Tuesday shows back on. I know it's been a bit difficult lately. And on a Thursday on 4GQ TV, where all the cool kids hang out, apparently. You can also find me on Twitter at animated_evil. That's the best place to find out what I'm doing. Yeah, basically. And on do you know what? On a Friday and Saturday, I co-host with Mr. Tushy Community Game Night UK. Look for me on Xbox at Animated Evil 857.
Nice.
There you go.
You know, I got to give a huge shout out. Yeah, Matt. I think Matt posted that Matthew Wine video. It's a great video. You're not saved, 3-bit. You're not saved. He posted
It'll
the
never
link.
be over for him.
It'll never be over. But the community game night that Mr. Tushy and Animated Evil and even Noof Nukem host is fantastic for the Xbox community. Mav does one on Friday nights on his after show as well most of the time. It's fantastic. It's a great way to play with people and just have fun. And we're all jealous of Infinite's massive arcade in his tornado basement in Wisconsin. So, Infinite,
That's where I keep my family.
when you're not playing some arcade machines, where can we find you?
You can catch me here on Thursdays and Tuesdays on Retro Renegades, 7 o'clock Eastern. And then, of course, on Twitter. Spell the same, ENFIN3T.
Nice. And Psychonauts, thank you for dropping in tonight and helping us out with some of this tech talk. Where can people find you, man?
Yeah, well, thanks for inviting me, man. And you guys can find me Psychonauts 8 everywhere on social media. I got a YouTube channel, Gamer Chat Podcast, Gamer Chat one word. Find me on Wednesdays, Fun Pop, moved to new night, and every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern on Xbox Ultimate with the Magnificent Seven. And this Friday, I will be on Indie Gamer Show at 5 p.m. Eastern. So come check us out. We're going to be talking about indie games, wrap up of E3. It's going to be all indie stuff, so it's going to be fantastic.
Oh, that's going to be a fun show, man. Love indie games. Yeah. It is like the heart and soul of this industry lately. Indie games.
I mean, they all started at indie games at one point, and you know. So.
Yeah, that's true. And Mav, the leader of the Magnificent
The
Magnificent Seven. You know, where can people find you?
Hey, fun show. Hey, it was fun diving into some tech stuff, dude. But you guys can find me on Twitter at Fun Speculation. Also, YouTube, Fun Speculation, where we have the Xbox Ultimate Podcast on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please come and join in, hang out, enjoy the fun. Also, yes, Wednesday nights, I think we're moving Fun Pop to 10 p.m. Eastern. And we're looking to bring you that show every week. 3-Bit will be back with us at some point here, but super excited for the show we have tomorrow. Some awesome guests. So yeah, thanks for everybody in the chat hanging out tonight, and thank you to this whole panel because this was fun. And a shout out to Lemon as well and PK.
Absolutely, both those guys phenomenal.
Yeah. Lemon still might be in the chat, so you could drop where you can be found at, Lemon. Feel free to do that. I know that you're probably watching your TCL TV in 2K right now, enjoying it. But Flamish,
Yes.
without your candy bowl today, and probably for the last month or so.
I know.
Longer.
Where can people find you?
Well, you can find me over here, of course, on 4GQ TV from time to time. And also over my own channel, Flemish, where I have my Sunday show at 2 p.m. EST or 7 p.m. UK time, where we talk about the most random stuff. It's always exciting what's gonna come up. Sometimes with guests. But yeah, it's random. Besides that, sometimes a RetroRenegades on Tuesday as well. Yeah, for all other things, that's it. I have to think for a second.
Nice. So Lemon says this is where you can find me. Most people probably don't know what that means, but 108 Dragons TV is his YouTube channel. He always does a great show. It's with Sick and PK, and sometimes they have guests. There's always cool gameplay going on, so check that out, man. It's a really good show, and Lemon always knows what he's talking about, man. He's got like the latest 8K, 10K cameras. He's got the 24K drones flying in the skies over parks in New York, man. He's got it all. And then you can check out PK, PKX Entertainment, I believe, PKX Live. Those are the handles he goes by. He's got his own channel as well that's coming back. So be looking forward to some big things. And I got a really special announcement to make. This is something that has been in the works. And tomorrow we have a interview. Paris, as you know, who has been on this channel before and on multiple interviews, has a interview with Anthony Francisco, who has actually done some of the wardrobes for characters in Avengers, a visual artist. He did Baby Groot. So that's really cool. You can check out the last 2 interviews that Paris did as well. We uploaded to the channel and to the Marvel Cinematic Facebook group. Mike Coltier, who was Luke Cage, and John Bernthal, who was the Punisher. Hopefully they come back. And I've sent out multiple emails to agents. We're finally on IMDb, guys. We're finally on IMDb, so it's official. We're considered a TV show web series on YouTube, which is fantastic. We already got 50 episodes uploaded, 7 seasons.
Nice.
And they're slowly updating all of them. Well, not slowly, but they're kind of trying to do it quick. And I'm really excited about that, man. So you'll be able to catch us on there as well. I mean, we are just, the channel itself, the brand itself is moving in all directions, and everybody who is on this channel, on this team with me, everybody in the DM, the 4GQ TV, I believe in teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work, and we work as a team and we grow as a team, and every one of you will grow with me as well. So that's how it is. I love all you guys. And Mav, congratulations on that Note 20. Just last minute congratulations there.
Oh, hold on. Can we actually clap for this as well, for the IMBV, or what was it?
IMDb, International Movie Database.
Yeah, can we clap for this, because this is actually a huge milestone, right?
Yes, this was actually it wasn't easy to get. It was actually very hard to get. And if you look on the IMDb page now, you'll see that every special cast member or guest that's like a movie star, actress, director, they're listed on our episodes. So like you go to the channel, you'll see John Bernthal as a member on one of the shows, or you'll see Aaron Fitzgerald, or you'll see Jimmy Palmiotti, Paul Jenkins. Like IMDb's listing them on our show with credits, so which is really cool, and it is a big deal. So thank you, Flamish, for that shout out, and thank you to the chat. And yes, look clean because I listened to PK Graphic God and Infinite on the light advice, by the way. So thank you, everybody. Until next week, until tomorrow, man. I can't wait to share more of these interviews with you. We got more lined up. And the one with Anthony Francisco is just going to be really Paris, him and I. It's just the way that it was PR done. But the other interviews coming up, we'll be able to have more panel on. So check us out. And until next time, everybody. Talk to you guys later.
Peace out, gamers.
Peace.
Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.
Safe.
Bye.